Hey guys, welcome to Juicy Tea, where I read out the best stories on Reddit, so you don't have to. The funny, shocking, and satisfyingly juicy. Happy New Year's Eve, everyone. I hope you all had a great Christmas. Now, let's get into the first story. Am I the a-hole for reporting my host family after they asked me to F their incel son? Our first post comes from the Am I the a-hole subreddit, posted by Advice Personal 2893. I'm feeling really conflicted, and I need some outside perspective on a situation I've found myself in. I'm an 18-year-old high school student from the UK. For my senior year, I decided to participate in a study abroad program in the US. I was excited for the opportunity, but I had no idea what I was getting into with my host family. The family consisted of a single dad and his son, who was 25. The dad was a big football enthusiast and seemed friendly enough at first. However, his son, who self-identified as an incel, made my stay increasingly uncomfortable. He often expressed his frustration about women not being interested in him and how unfair he thought it was. His behavior towards me ranged from mean-spirited comments to outright sexist remarks. He would say things like, "Women are too picky, and all they want are chads." He was also extremely unhygienic. He rarely showered and spent most of his time playing video games. I'm a social person and have always enjoyed going out. During my time there, I met several guys through Tinder and at clubs. I'll admit, I brought a few back to the house. This seemed to trigger the son even more. He started complaining about how it was unfair that I was getting action while he was left out. His behavior grew increasingly resentful and bitter. Then, one day, things took a disturbing turn. The dad asked me to talk privately. He said he was concerned about the imbalance in the house, that his son was struggling with being a virgin and an incel, while I was openly enjoying my social life. Shockingly, he suggested that I should help out his son by having sex with him, or at least giving him a handjob to make things fair. I was completely taken aback and disgusted by this suggestion. I immediately packed a few things and left for a friend's house. Feeling shaken and unsure, I contacted the exchange student agency. They were incredibly supportive. They quickly arranged for me to stay with another family and suspended the original family's hosting rights, pending an investigation. The agency representative was very kind and even directed me to law enforcement resources to report the incident. Now I'm facing backlash from the original host family. They've been sending me angry letters accusing me of overreacting and claiming that I've ruined their reputation. They're insisting it was just a suggestion and that I'm blowing things way out of proportion. This has left me questioning my actions. Did I overreact by reporting them? Was it wrong to involve the agency and potentially law enforcement? Should I talk to the police about these letters? I feel like I overreacted. Down in the comments, WhatHoPuck says, "You should definitely tell the police about these letters and continued harassment and the agency." Out of the Country 66 says, "Yes, absolutely." And the topper is, they admitted it and simply proclaimed it as not a big deal. I think this is very likely why they signed up in the first place, which is disgusting and horrifying. Okay, so I don't want to outright say this is a fake post, but I feel like host families would be vetted to prevent this exact situation. Also, did anyone else notice the American spelling from an apparently UK born and raised student? Am I the a-hole for bringing my male friends with me to ask a girl out? Our next post comes from the Am I the Devil subreddit, posted by Exciting Dark 3630. There was this girl in college that I thought was very pretty. We had a couple of classes together, and although we weren't close, we had a few polite conversations. I observed her a lot, so I was familiar with her college routine. That's a lot of words for I stalked her. I have a group of friends that I'm pretty close with in college. One day, I told them I was gonna ask this girl out. They were hyped for me. A few of them asked if I wanted them with me for emotional support. What is this, primary school? Granted, I was pretty nervous, so I said, why not? I knew that afternoon the girl is usually alone in this one study room in the library, so I decided to come to her there. The day came, me and my friends went to the library, and we saw her alone in the study room. We went in. Some of my friends were in the corner, some were outside, looking in through the window. This is absolutely terrifying. I'd be so scared, even without knowing about the stalking. Like, what the hell? You have her surrounded and trapped in a little room by herself. I noticed that she became visibly uncomfortable, but at the time, I didn't think much of it. I went up to her and started talking. I told her that I thought she was very pretty, and I asked if she wants to go on a date sometime. She was looking around for a bit and then said that she doesn't want to do that. Wow, that's super brave. Honestly, I've been in similar situations where I've said yes and given a fake number just to get the hell out of that situation safely. I said okay, that's too bad, and walked out. My friends followed me and were giving me condolences. I felt bummed out, but not terrible. The day after, I tried to greet her when I saw her around, but she was very awkward for some reason. I thought that maybe that's just how it is for these things. You ask someone out, they reject you, and now they feel awkward around you. Apparently not. I was approached by her brother, who was also in the same college, and was told that I needed to leave her alone because I made her uncomfortable in the library. I asked him to elaborate on that, and he said that me bringing my male friends with me and cornering a woman who was alone was not appreciated. I told him that I just asked her out and I didn't have any bad intention. He said he only cares that his sister felt unsafe around me and he wasn't interested in my intention. He also said that if I was a real man, I'd have gone alone to talk to a woman, not bringing a gang of males to back me up. I felt embarrassed and honestly angry. I was just trying to ask this girl out, and my friends aren't thugs like this guy insinuated. Now, all of a sudden, I'm seen as this predator. I wanted to tell my friends what happened and ask for their opinion, but honestly, I don't want to drag this out, and I don't want word getting around that I'm a predator. Was this unfair? Am I the a-hole? I'm honestly kind of angry at this girl and her brother. I mean, we were in the library. The staff and other students were right there outside. Did she really think I was going to do something to her in that kind of setting? And the comments are all full of stories of people who have been attacked in college libraries. I think you've got to be pretty out of touch to not understand why she felt unsafe in that situation. You literally had your boys guarding the entrance and able to keep lookout. So yeah, you totally could have done something to her, and she knew it. Even if I'd initially been into a guy, if he pulled a stunt like that, basically trying to physically intimidate you into getting what he wants, I'd lose interest immediately. This is not how you ask a girl out. I didn't tell my fiance I quit my job. Posted by Affectionate Air 7710. I, 29 female, didn't tell my fiance, 32 male, I quit my job 6 days ago. He asked about it today, and I came clean. He feels like this is a huge breach of trust, and feels like there's a chasm between us now. He says he's re-evaluating our entire relationship. I started the job on October 30th, and immediately knew it wasn't the right fit. I didn't like the work, I didn't have any training, and the position was different from what I thought it was. I told him this repeatedly, but his reaction was always the same. To stick it out and that starting a new job is always tough until you get the hang of it. I totally understand that sentiment, but every time I brought up just how unhappy I was, I got the same reaction, so I stopped talking to him about it. I've worked quite a few jobs in my life, working seasonally with the Park Service and Forest Service, so I generally know my learning curve and what I consider normal in a job. I definitely take part of the blame for looking past some red flags because the job was with a company that I really admire. But the job was also kind of misrepresented and doesn't fall in line with my skills or desired career path. Anyways, I quit last Thursday. Kind of premeditated, kind of on a whim, since I'm rarely in the office with my supervisor, and wanted to give them plenty of time to repost the job over the holidays and want to start the new year fresh. He casually asked me today about it, first time, and said he doesn't want me to quit before the new year. At this point, I already quit 6 days ago. I told him that, and we had a calm discussion about it. He said this took him by surprise, understandably. Roll around to a couple hours later, and he's not so okay with it anymore. His ex-wife cheated and left him years ago. He said this is how it started, with her making decisions without him and telling him after the fact. He feels like a huge chasm has opened up between us now. Because of this. Is he overreacting? Am I overreacting and did something we can't return from? I know what I did was bad and I feel terrible. I didn't try and cover anything up or justify why I didn't tell him in the first place. Shame and embarrassment play a huge role, of course. I don't know what to say or how to explain that me not telling him I quit my job doesn't mean I'm gonna up and leave the relationship or continually omit information / lie to him. Edit. Money and finances aren't an issue in this case, and I've still been going to work. I only handed in my notice 6 days ago. Any advice is appreciated, thank you. Okay, I'm honestly kind of confused why this was cross-posted into Am I the Devil? He sounds super controlling and using his past trauma as an excuse. She doesn't need his permission to leave a job that isn't the right fit for her. Like, is his issue that she didn't keep him in the loop? Because she kinda did. Telling him about how she hated working there and wanted to quit. Like, why was he so pushy about her staying there? No wonder she didn't feel comfortable telling him immediately. Obviously, as a partner, she should have mentioned the fact that she'd handed in her notice, but still, she came clean within a week, and the first time it came up, while she was still working there. If she'd been lying about working while lying around the house for 6 months, then I'd understand. If this was an ongoing pattern for her, not holding down work and the finances were all falling on him, I'd get it. But none of that's actually in the post. Just her telling him about how she hated her job and it wasn't right for her future. Him pressuring her to stay despite this. Her handing in her notice when the right opportunity came up, then feeling too embarrassed to bring it up to him until he brought it up to her. In a very controlling way, mind you, telling her she had to stay until the new year. What the F? Then her coming clean immediately. Now he's bringing his cheating ex into this? And acting like not telling him and going against his wishes was like some huge betrayal? Yeah, I wonder why she didn't feel comfortable telling him right away. I don't think this qualifies as her being the devil. I'd rather save that title for the truly worst of the worst. Remember, I post new content every day, so subscribe for more juicy tea.